Okay, so a new One Punch Man chapter will be dropping this Thursday, so you guys already know that we have to make a prediction video ahead of that chapter. And of course, as you can tell by the title, we will be talking about the next chapter of One Punch Man and what I think could happen in the next chapter. And I'll just be explaining why I think these things could happen, etc, etc. But of course, before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, because from one look at my channel, you can tell I post a heck of a ton of One Punch Man content. So if you love One Punch Man, then this channel is definitely for you. But apart from that, let's just get into the video, because I do really want to talk about this, because after that controversial chapter, I feel like people might be a bit happier once they see this new chapter, or well, once they see what I think could happen in this new chapter. Now, starting off with, I guess, well, the main thing that happened in the last chapter, which was Metal Bat versus Garou. Well, not Metal Bat versus Garou, sorry. Metal Bat and Garou versus Sage Centipede. I never would have thought I would have said that sentence before last chapter, but, these guys are working together and they are trying to take down Sage Centipede. And I feel like in the next chapter, I feel like that will be, I guess, we're going to be drawing closer to the end of Sage Centipede, or we will probably see the end of Sage Centipede in the next chapter, who knows. And we'll establish some new feats for Metal Bat, because in my last video, despite Metal Bat holding off Sage Centipede's attacks, people still thought Metal Bat did not deserve even High Dragon. So I'm sure in this new chapter, Metal Bat will establish some new feats, some new pretty impressive feats nonetheless, and I feel like people will put more respect on Metal Bat's name. But of course, we will see more feats from Garou, of course. And I feel like, the main qualm of people in the last chapter was that, Garou's whole comedic form or comedic chibi style wasn't really, part of Garou's character. And to be honest, I would be lying if I could guarantee you that we won't see that in this recent chapter. But if we don't, I wouldn't be surprised, because, now that we're starting to get a bit more serious, because we feel, Tario's life right now is technically in danger, because Sage Centipede could very well just take down that helicopter anytime he wants. And I feel like that's something that we could also see happen. We could see, I guess, the alleged death of Tario, and I feel like that death may just make Garou turn completely, and we might see, I feel like once Metal Bat and Garou start, putting damage on Sage Centipede and they start overwhelming him, and I feel like in that situation, Metal Bat and Garou are going to be thinking, oh, we're going to take down Sage Centipede without any casualties in the helicopter, and Sage Centipede, just takes down the helicopter as a way to spite Garou and Metal Bat of all their efforts. And that's when we see the, the chopper go down, and we see, like, I guess, Tario's alleged death, and then Garou just goes completely crazy, and he just takes down Sage Centipede by himself. He deals the last few blows, and then we see Garou completely, like, he's in a crazy form. Well, this isn't his awakened form technically, but he's in this kind of, I guess, middle area of going into awaken and his previous form. And I feel like that's when Metal Bat versus Garou may take place. We could see Metal Bat in his full fighting spirit form versus this not new form, but I guess progressively more awakened Garou, you could say, kind of the middle area between awakened Garou and, released Boros level Garou. I don't really know what to call the previous form of Garou, but you guys know what form I'm talking about. And we will see Metal Bat versus Garou take place, and eventually, obviously, Metal Bat will be killed, or not killed, but will be defeated. And I don't know if Metal Bat could push this form of Garou to his awakened form, but if Metal Bat does do that, then that completely puts Metal Bat in a completely different league of strength at that point. Now, don't get me wrong, I definitely feel like Metal Bat has he has his limits, but I wouldn't actually be surprised if Metal Bat did actually push Garou to his awakened form. I feel like it would be a pretty good, like, circular thing for, like, Garou and Metal Bat to happen again after, they had kind of an unfinished fight back, back in, like, season 2 of the anime. So I feel like that would be pretty cool. But of course, moving on to, I guess, something that could happen after that. So maybe after Garou defeats Metal Bat, we could see Saitama come in and maybe punch Garou so hard that, he just sends him flying into, like, a piece of rubble. And maybe Saitama does kind of a killing intent punch. I feel like Saitama can feel Garou's bloodlust and decides to just, just finish off the job really quickly because, I'm pretty sure Saitama's heard of this, hero hunter Garou. So Saitama assumes this is the person and just, decides to finish him off in one killer intent punch. Well, it's not really a serious punch. He just does like a normal punch, but it has killing intent behind it. But of course, we know that this time Garou awakens, but this is not like the Garou before. This is fully awakened Garou now, and I feel like that would surprise Saitama because we know that Saitama has killed every single monster, with a killing intent punch, with killing intent behind it. He's actually killed every monster that he's been up against. So the fact that Garou is able to stand up after this, of course, would impress Saitama to an extent, and we may see Saitama actually make a facial expression. Because believe it or not, making Saitama make a facial expression is actually a feat. Believe it or not, like if you're not a One Punch Man fan or you're like a recent One Punch Man fan, then maybe that may seem a little bit ridiculous to you, but making Saitama even the slightest bit shocked in, in a serious fight is definitely a feat. And that's probably the only person that's done that is probably Boros, if I'm not mistaken. So the fact that Garou could do this, well, I'm assuming, this is what I'm predicting, if Garou can do this, that would be a feat that would go into Garou's many catalog of feats that he's already established in this entire Monster Association arc. But moving on, this isn't even my prediction for the next chapter. I feel like the first half of the video was more my prediction for the first chapter. Now I'm going into more like, what I think could happen in the next couple of chapters after this, because we are coming to the climax of the arc, and I'm pretty sure like Murata isn't going to long this out anymore unless he decides to switch to Fubuki and Psychos, which would be a little bit frustrating because right now we're in the middle of like a really hype moment. So for him to just switch to a different scene would be it would be kind of funny, but at the same time it would be like, why? Because all of this is happening and I really just want to get to Saitama versus Garou. But I feel like Fubuki and Psychos, their conversation is drawing closer, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happened in the next chapter. But I feel like that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. I feel like I've predicted quite a lot that could happen, and I'm pretty happy with this prediction because I can feel it in my gut that this could be something that could happen. But apart from that, that's pretty much all I have for this video. If you like the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, because I post quite a lot of One Punch Man content. One Punch Man is like the staple, like the figurehead of this channel. So if you like that stuff, then you already know what to do. But apart from that, I will see you in my next video.